There's an adventure inside all of us. Some of us live for that adventure. Others let it take them someplace new. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Looks exciting, and this is also exciting or nice, right? You take a look at Shasta Lake Skycam here. This is out at Jones Valley Resort. What a beautiful start to the day. You know, if you are a fisherman or a fisher person or whatever it is, I don't know, there's all kinds. I don't fish a whole lot, so as you can tell. But this is one of the rewards of getting up early, going out fishing, or heading out on a houseboat, or whatever it may be. Look at that beautiful sunrise. You can see just how calm it looks on the lake. You can see some of the American flags off in the distance. Some of the smaller flags are flapping a little bit here in the wind, but the larger flag is still fairly calm at this point. So yeah, some fairly light breezes out there on the lake. Of course, this camera is sponsored by Elwood Ranch. I want to thank Elwood Ranch for their sponsorship of that awesome camera. All right, take a look at the visibility out there this morning. It has dropped a little bit this morning out in Crescent City at about 5-mile visibility. We take a look at what we're seeing out there right now, and that doesn't really kind of jive, does it? Although, take a look at the harvest moon. You can see out there, although it was a full moon yesterday, but you can see the moon out there coming in from the Crescent City Harbor District Skycam there, and turning out to be a gorgeous, gorgeous start to the morning there. Again, the visibility has dropped down to 5 miles, but when you look at the camera here, I don't see much in the way of clouds or even marine layer, quite honestly. Take a look at your Friday, July 31st. Krueger's Quick Cast. Your Skeeter meter is on a scale of 0 to 5 at a 3. Of course, the activity has increased this week from a 2 to a 3 this week. And we'll see what it looks like for next week. Take a look at out the door here for this morning. We've got the sunny skies out there, and even the parts of the North Coast are starting to see some of that clearing this morning as well. Already about 72 degrees by 8 o'clock this morning in the valley. So the low pressure system off over the Gulf of Alaska is kind of holding on there, and that is what's kind of moved on in. And that's what's really kind of preventing our temperatures from getting as warm as they could. I just wanted to kind of check something here, make sure everything is okay, and it looks like it is. All right, have to forgive me. I'm kind of, a one-man band here, one-man shop, and you got to make sure that everything is in tip-top shape. Got to make sure we're doing that. All right. So once again, looking at that area of low pressure over the Gulf of Alaska, that area of low pressure has been preventing the heat over the desert Southwest from building in, although that's going to be changing starting as early as today and especially going into the weekend. So here's a look at Futurecast. You can see not much in the way of fog this morning on the coast, is there? And you can see plenty of sunshine this afternoon, but then later on this evening into tonight, that fog will return. Well, today is Friday, and we do a Monday and then just kind of a repeat on Friday of Mindy's water safety tips. She's a certified ISR swim instructor at readingisr.com. And today, or this week, she talks about barriers around your pool and, some of the other things that can help to keep your kids safe.
Hey, Weather NorCal, here's something that most parents don't realize. Most childhood drownings happen during times when the child is not supposed to be swimming. They slip outside during everyday moments when adults are busy nearby. That's why barriers matter. Four-sided pool fences, self-latching gates, high door locks, and pool and door alarms all add valuable layers of protection between your child and the water, buying you precious time to help prevent that tragedy from happening. Because when it comes to water safety, every layer matters. I'm Mindy O'Dell with Reading ISR, reminding you that drowning is preventable and every child deserves to be safe in and around the water.
Awesome. Great advice coming in from Mindy O'Dell from Reading ISR. By the way, She is amazing what she does when she's teaching these kids how to swim. She is one of the only ISR instructors, ISR certified instructors. Now, you may not know what that is, and for good reason. Not many people have heard about it. I didn't hear about it until I met her, and what she does is amazing, and is, if I had known about it, would have had Aiden go through the program as well. It is going to be the safest and best, most effective way to teach your kids to swim and swim safely and to be safe. As early as 6 months old, folks, your child at 6 months old and older could fall into the pool, but under her instruction, they will know how to roll on their back and be safe and not drown. That's the important thing, right? And it's the most, again, the most effective way for your child to learn how to swim. I could go on and on about it, but be sure to go to readingisr.com to find out more about the program and set up your appointment with Mindy today. She gets booked up pretty quickly, so be sure to get those in there. All right, take a look at the swamp cooler temperature. Now, yesterday only got up to 97. Today's going to be a bit warmer, but with the lower humidity, I do expect that cooler output to be about 74 degrees. So, of course, AC, you can drop it as low as you want, but the swamp cooler can only perform so much under the conditions. Taking a look at your temperatures for today, again, it's going to be about 100 degrees or higher for most of us in the valley. You can see a couple of spots may just dodge that triple-digit mark like Corning and Willows. Otherwise, in the mountains, mainly in the 90s. Although Lassen Park, 77 degrees, that's a good place to kind of cool off, and cool off even more on the coast with temperatures there in the mid-60s. Tonight, we're dropping down to the upper 60s for the valley, low to mid-50s for the mountains, and low to mid-50s also for the coast. So your 7-day outlook for the valley, the peak of the warming trend will be Monday. On either side of that, about a degree or two cooler. So really, it's going to be about a 4-day stretch, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then you can see we're back down into the lower 100s, even some upper 90s for places like Chico by Wednesday of next week. We take a look at the coast, mid to upper 60s over the weekend, mid 60s through next week. Inland, low 90s, mostly through the weekend, and then triple digits by Monday. Upper 90s to around 100 degrees or higher for Trinity County for the next 7 days. Siskiyou and Modoc counties, generally in the mid-90s, give or take. But you can see out towards Susanville, for example, you could get up to the upper 90s to about 100 degrees. All right, your fire weather outlook. This is good news. You know, I was actually commenting on this yesterday. I was talking about the 3-1 pit fire and how it had been over a week since we had gotten any updates. It was just every day talking about 95% containment. Well, a new update came. Maybe they listened. Maybe they heard. I don't know. Do they watch me? I don't know. We'll see. But 99% containment coming out of the 3-1 pit fire. Same story for the Loomis fire. It had no updates. Here just this morning, we got a new update. It too is at 99% contained. The Biscar fire, 98% containment as of this morning and just under 70,000 acres. All right, so the National Weather Service has put northeastern California in an elevated fire weather risk for tomorrow. What does that mean? Well, essentially hot, dry, and windy. That's essentially what we're looking at here. So let's take a look at those elements here, starting off with the winds. Now, as I mentioned, overall, no major wind events. However, let's take you into tomorrow afternoon, because today, not an issue, right? Yeah, a little breezy at times this afternoon, but nothing to be concerned about. However, take a look at that bullseye of wind just west of in the western side of the valley, especially in Tehama County, even Shasta County. You're talking about some 30+ mile-an-hour winds. By the way, take a look at the coast. Those winds are kind of picking up there as well, especially even down towards southwestern Humboldt County. But also you'll notice a bit breezy, as we typically see in the afternoon for the mountains. Now, there still is a bit of a bullseye of some gusty winds on the west side of the valley, even on Sunday, but not as strong, but that should keep that fire weather risk fairly high. And then Monday morning, look at that. Typically, the winds die down in the morning, but not necessarily the case on Monday morning. They should die down, though, by Monday afternoon. So, fire weather risk color coding. Greens and yellows, that's low fire weather risk. Okay, the numbers on your screen, well, that is the relative humidity. Look how dry it gets this afternoon. Single digits, low single digits for the valley. Low single digits and teens or single digits and teens for some of the higher elevations as well. But take a look at this on Saturday. Remember that bullseye of wind? Well, we've also got a bullseye of high to very high fire weather risk. Now, what does that mean? You know, we talk about the elevated fire weather risk, the yellows and oranges. A fire starts, it can spread pretty rapidly. But typically the firefighters can usually get a handle on it depending on the conditions. However, when we start getting into the high to very high, those winds pick up. If a fire should start, under these conditions, it can spread rapidly. And that's why it's very important to use extreme caution. It's always important during the fire season, during the summer, to always use caution to prevent any fires from starting. But use extreme caution. Be really conscious of it over the weekend. Because even though, as I mentioned, the winds may subside a little bit for your Sunday, there you can still see in the high to even getting in that very high category for parts of western Tehama County in particular. Now, Monday morning, typically we're just all green. But we actually have some oranges in there. So we're going to have the elevated fire weather risk Monday morning, and we continue that elevated fire weather risk for Monday afternoon. So let's take a look at, of course, do want to remind you that I was looking at something else here. Do want to remind you that you can always get the latest on the fires. I just gave you the latest on the acreage of the fires in our area and fire weather data. There's a one-stop shop for you to get the latest on anything when it's related to fires. Just go to weathernorcal.com and click on the fire danger section. All right, Curtis Brown is actually asking, and I'm pretty sure that those winds will be coming out of the north-northwest. Let's double check. Like I say, I'm pretty sure, but we're just going to kind of go into here and take a look at this. Let's see what, so actually more of a south wind today, but let's take a look at tomorrow. Yeah, they're more, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just wanted to double check, right? They're coming out of the north-northwest. That's even worse, right? Because that can, and then we go, that's tomorrow, and then we take you into Sunday, same story, coming out of the north-northwest. So north wind, as you know, any wind coming from any direction this time of the year, just not a good situation. So we've really got to use that extreme caution. So good question, Curtis, because again, you're probably well aware of the fact that, yeah, paying attention to the direction of the winds can also determine just how high that fire weather risk will be. And if the winds are more from the south, the fire weather risk probably wouldn't be as high, but it would still be dry nonetheless. It just tends to be drier, as we saw, in the lower single digits for the relative humidity, thanks to those dry north winds. All right, let's get you in before we get to our Krueger's Quick Cast. Actually, no, we're already done with Krueger's Quick Cast. We're going to go into the deeper dive here in a bit. But first, let's take a look at some of the cameras in the region. This is our Reading Divine Sky Cam. Beautiful shot. Not a cloud to be seen out there. And really can't even see much of the smoke and haze from the fires in Oregon. This is another look at Shasta Lake. This is from the Jones Valley Resort. This is sponsored by Elwood Ranch. We've also got another great camera here, exclusive to Weather NorCal. It's a Lake Shastina Golf Resort Sky Cam, also sponsored by Elwood Ranch. And you can see the beautiful shot that we have there this morning over Mount Shasta. Take a look at the Soto Ridge camera. You got the clear skies, a little bit of that haze and smoke you can see off in the distance as we look northward into southern Oregon. Lassen Volcanic National Park, clear skies there this morning. As you can see, taking a look at Lake Oroville, you've got clear skies in Chico. Can't see this from this camera, but you can see the traffic is flowing along there just nicely. And look at that, mainly clear skies out in Crescent City this morning. There may still be some patchy fog for some of you along the coast, but I do expect most of you along the coast to see a bit more sunshine here for today. Should be a pretty nice day, actually, along the coast. Look at that beautiful full moon out there, by the way, off in the distance. Bald Hill West. We're not even seeing any fog. Yesterday, this time, we were looking at some of that marine layer kind of filtering into some of those inland valleys. Not necessarily the case today. And of course, just an indication that marine layer not very strong today because Crescent City already clearing out this morning. Fort Jones looking out in Scott Valley in Siskiyou County, turning out to be a beautiful shot there this morning. And Coffee with Krueger would not be possible without our sponsor, Wind River Resort and Casino.
We're ending the weekend on a high note. Join us at Wind River Resort and Casino and indulge in our Sunday brunch. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're serving up all the favorites from savory classics to sweet treats. Mimosas included. Get this, all-you-can-eat brunch for $45 with a River Club card or $55 without. Gather your friends and family for the perfect relaxing Sunday morning or afternoon. For full menu or complete details, visit windriver.com or call 1-800-280-YOU-WIN. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
All right, so if you don't have any plans this weekend for breakfast or lunch or brunch or whatever, maybe take a loved one or a family member or take the family out to the Wind River Sunday brunch. Looks like good food. Of course, they got amazing food pretty much all year round. All right, let's go and take a look at our deeper dive forecast for your Friday, July 31st. Taking a look at our weather headlines. The warming trend starts today, and we're going to notice it. Temperature is most likely 100 degrees or higher for most of us in the valley. Heat wave peaks on Monday, so just a gradual increase going through the weekend. And the weekend is getting hotter. Stays hot through next week. However, there will be a dip in the temperatures by the middle and latter part of next week. And all of that being said, with this heat wave moving in, I'm still not expecting any record-breaking heat across the board. Taking a look at the area of low pressure over the Gulf of Alaska, it actually is going to be getting weaker in the days to come. What's happening is that ridge of high pressure will then be allowed to build closer to us. It's going to be over Southern California, where that's where the major heat is. That's where you're going to see excessive heat warnings, heat advisories. We don't have any excessive heat warnings or advisories in Northern California, but it will still be hot. Don't get me wrong. We're talking for Redding, 107, 108, right? But the hottest temperatures we've seen so far this year was actually last month in June 15th, where we saw 109. We'll get into that here in a second. But take a look at this. As we go through next week, we're going to be looking at more of an elongated ridge of high pressure. It's essentially a broad ridge of high pressure starting in the eastern Pacific, but working its way eastward, not only for us here in the western United States, but all of the United States, southern United States. You can see that flat ridge of high pressure that's in place. Now, a ridge like that typically isn't very strong, and as a result, it doesn't bring us the heat that we would expect from high pressure. So yes, we're starting off the month of August fairly hot, but I do expect those temperatures to decrease towards the middle and especially latter part of next week, and really overall don't have a very strong ridge of high pressure building in after that. Now, again, I was mentioning June was actually from looking at the climatology aspect, it was warmer than the month of July. Again, from when you're looking at the climatology, that is, what's the average temperature, right? Were we above average? And you can see a majority of the month, yes, above average. The hottest, as I mentioned, was June 15th at 109 degrees, but there were several stretches of below normal temperatures and well below normal, 70s and 80s, right? 3 days from June 7th through the 9th, 2 days 19th and 20th, 2 days 26th and 27th, and 2 days 28th and 29th. And then those gray boxes, that's where we see average temperatures. But check this out. Let's take a look at the month of July. A lot of gray boxes in there. What does that mean? That's temperatures near average. You know, I did feel like a broken record through the month of July. I kept saying, yeah, temperatures will be around normal, temperatures around normal, temperatures around average, right? And that's essentially what we saw. Yes, we saw a little bit of a stretch of above average. The hottest this month was 106 degrees. The coolest was 94. And we saw those stretches of below normal temperatures. In fact, one of those below normal temperatures was yesterday, only a high of 97 degrees out in Redding. So when we look at the extended outlook, next 10 days, yes, there's that heat wave. It's not going to be for very long, though, because the peak will be on Monday, and then on either side of that, close to the peak, 107 to 108 for Redding. So really, the stretch or the main heat wave will be this weekend, Monday and Tuesday, and then a nice dip in our temperatures by Wednesday and Thursday of next week. All right, let's switch gears, talk about those lake levels. And, you know, you look at the lakes this time of the year, it's a little depressing. We start seeing more and more of that shoreline, but that's normal for this time of the year. You look at the historical average, about 100% for Shasta Lake and over 100% for Trinity and Lake Oroville. Now, the wave heights fairly low this morning and today, but they are increasing as we go into tomorrow. That's why there's a small craft advisory that won't take effect until tomorrow afternoon through Sunday evening. There you can see the winds today, though, coming in from the northwest at 5 to 10 knots. So here is your neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. These temperatures for Trinity County, generally around 100 degrees or higher, and we actually peak on that heat wave around Monday, Tuesday. For the North Coast, mid to upper 60s. No big changes there. A bit more sunshine in the forecast, especially later on in the weekend and early next week. There's a look at your inland 7-day forecast. We've got the triple digits in there for next week, but before that, most likely not. Siskiyou County, temperatures upper 80s, low 90s through the weekend, low to mid 90s for Monday through Thursday of next week. Modoc County also looking at those warmer temperatures over the weekend, low to mid 90s for Saturday, Sunday, low to mid 90s through next week. Eastern Mountains, some areas like Susanville could get up to about 100 degrees for your Saturday and Sunday. Upper 90s, about 100 degrees, bottom line. All right, taking a look at the Valley neighborhood forecast to the south. It's warming up a bit. Chico, I think for the first time in a while, it can get up to about 100 degrees, and we'll keep it in the triple digits, most likely for the next 7 days, although Wednesday maybe about 99. The peak of the heat wave, Monday, with a high of 105 degrees. We take a look at up to the north, 102 for Redding, 101 for Red Bluff, 103 in Palisadro, and there is your 7-day forecast for Redding. Yeah, 107 on Sunday, 108 on Monday. We've got 107 on Tuesday, and yeah, low 100s by Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Yeah, so as I was talking about, felt like a mild July, Curtis says, yeah, July did seem mild. I recorded only 9 days of above 100 degrees. Very interesting, Curtis. Thank you for that little tidbit of information. All right, folks, it is your Friday edition of Coffee with Krueger. That means the weekend is coming on up here. I'm excited about it because I'm technically on vacation here, right? Just kind of working here in the mornings and, of course, getting your updates throughout the day, but still enjoying some great time with my son the last few weeks. He's actually leaving tomorrow. We're going to be, I'm going to take him to the airport in San Diego. He's going to be flying back home. And then my wife, I think in midair, their planes are going to cross because she's going to be coming down with her friend. I'm picking them up at the airport shortly after I drop Aiden off, bringing her down for another week through all of next week, and then driving back home after that. So I'll be back home after a little over a week from now. So there you go. Just kind of a quick update on my vacation here. That's why I'm in vacation mode a little bit here. Haven't shaved. Got a bit of that scruffy look, I'm not a big. It's a hat. I don't like shaving, but I do need to shave because I don't look great in a beard, in my opinion. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this morning. Let's take a look at. Let's see here. I'll get this over here. There I am. And by the way, I'm not trying to fool anybody, but this is a picture of my set in Redding. And just to kind of give you that feel of, things are normal and I'm not on vacation, I have what looks like my set behind me. It's all the beautiful thing we call a green screen around here. So I've got a green screen behind me, and that's why you can kind of, let me see if I can make a shadow or something. You kind of see the lights. Let's see if that's a pretty good green screen. You can kind of see a little bit of a green haze around my fingers there. All right. Anyways, just some of the side things that we do here. But that all being said, yeah. So again, I just try to give you that feel that things are kind of normal around here, but they're not. I'm here in Baja, Mexico, having a good time. Let's take a look at, let's see here before we do that. Let's see if we can advance it. Perfect. Just going to do it. We are going to take a look at what national days, holidays we have today. It's always fun. National Mutt Day. All right, so yesterday we were having dinner at this amazing place on the beach. Really good dinner, actually. My son Aiden had the prime rib. Amazing. I had this amazing salmon dish. Just good. Anyway, there was, in Mexico, the rules are a little different. A lot of times people can bring their dogs, especially if it's outdoors. There was actually a stray dog that came in to hang out with us. Clean, didn't have a collar. I don't know if it had an owner or not, but just the cutest little thing. It was a puppy. It looked to be fairly full grown, but well behaved. Beautiful dog. So it looked like a mutt, but beautiful dog nonetheless. So today is National Mutt Day. So celebrate your mutt if you have one. National Avocado Day. Oh, I'm in Mexico. We got avocados here. Maybe I'll have some avocado toast this morning. National Raspberry Cake Day. All right, well, there you go. System Administrator Appreciation Day. All right, that's a little bit of a stretch. National Get Gnarly Day. Well, I'm on the beach. We were hoping Aiden was going to get some surf lessons this trip. We didn't get a chance to do that. But he still is wakeboarding, so I'll tell him, get gnarly out there on the wakeboard and have fun. National Talk in an Elevator Day. All right, well, I don't know of any elevators in this area. I don't necessarily need to do that, but there you go. So I think the ones that are most fun are the National Mutt Day, Avocado Day. That's something I think I could do. And Get Gnarly Day, I don't necessarily go out there surf or even do any wakeboarding, but a lot of fun. Hope you're all having a good day. It's Friday. It's time to think about the weekend and enjoy some beautiful shots that we have here in Northern California. Absolutely gorgeous. Once again, I want to thank you for joining me here on Coffee with Krueger on this Friday morning. You have a great rest of your day. Be sure to check in with me. I'll be back
Thank you.